Hi everyone, welcome to the next video in this series. My pencil sharpener there from Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. We're going to do this item to start with. We probably have time for another one as well, but I thought we would come in quite close. Let's zoom in for this one. There we go. Now we have a sort of chain holding up our gemstone. Oh, that was a bit of pencil and I just smudged it. I should have used my brush. So I'm trying to think what colour. I quite fancy doing it in a sort of greens, like cobalt green, the dark cobalt green, something like that, or emerald green, something. So I'm going to do that first. So I'm just going to sharpen my deep cobalt green and think about where the gemstone is going to be at its darkest. So probably down here, I think it might be quite dark, and then I'm just going to lighten it as I go up like that. And I'm going to make it symmetrical because I think it looks better and it's easier. Now with this one, I'm wondering whether to do it dark here and bring the colour down like that, and here. Now these other front two are sort of facing us, so I think they're going to be a bit lighter. So I'm going to grab a lighter green. Now I am wondering whether to skip straight to emerald green. There's a huge difference in colour. I think it might work. So this is my emerald green, it's really little. And I'm going to sort of extend this a little bit, still fading it down like that. Do the same on here. And oops, that might be a little bit dark on that side, but that's okay. Now with these two, I think they'd be quite pale, and sometimes I find we can benefit from doing it like this. And then it looks like there's white on there reflecting off it, so it maybe looks a little more shiny, but that's how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to add some white pen to take away some of those harsh black lines. So I've got my Gellyroll again that we've been using on this page, and I'm definitely going to erase this line here and here. Now the lines help us to see where the different facets or cuts in the gemstone are, but they also sort of take away from how shiny it is. So when you take them away, you can leave the darker ones near the bottom maybe, or leave a few bits of dark. You know, it doesn't matter if it shows a little bit, it's just about fading it a little bit. So I think that's what I try to do there. Now we have our chain. I'm going to do this in silver. I'm going to show you a slightly different way to do silver. I think it's good to try a few different things. So this is the Payne's grey. It's really quite dark, it's slightly purpley. And what we're going to do is we're going to be quite careful. We're going to use it quite dark here, but fade it really quickly. Like that. And the same here, so dark here and then a really gentle touch as you go up, like that. And we can do the same here and here, like that. Now this side I think would be even lighter, so I'm really going to use it gently because I'm thinking that's reflecting the same light as this front part here. You may not even really be able to see it, but that's okay, this isn't our only colour. So again, fade that up and down quite quickly. It's you have to have quite a light touch quite quickly. It takes a bit of practice. You can always practice on a piece of scrap paper first to try and get the knack of it. But I'm going to add a little bit of blue. Now this is something I learned from Helen Elliston's books. This is the light Ultramarine. So it's quite a grey blue, and where I start to fade it, I'm just going to put a little bit of blue in. And it just adds a different dimension to our silvery colour. There we go. We're just going to leave it there. Now our next item is this flask. I'm going to come out quite a bit, if I can find my remote control button, and do the ribbon. There we go. And then I'm going to come back into detail to do the actual flask. So I've got to think of a colour. Now I'm trying to mix it up a lot and make it look random at the same time. It's never that easy, but I think we haven't used a red for a ribbon yet, so I'm just going to do that. I'm going to choose a red that I haven't used before though. I'm going to choose the Madder, which is a pinky red, just giving it a sharpen. So here we go with the Madder. I can't see that in my screen. Oh yeah, I think you might be able to. Now it's always a little tricky. We've got this hanging in front of our ribbon. Is it going to be shading it? I'm going to just go with a yes and make it darker there and then fade it. Dark from the top, fade it. And we want to leave our little white bit like we did on the other ribbon to make it look shiny. I think it's fine to do it like this, as if there's a bit of shadow from there, like that. Got this little set of buttons to do, and that'll be fun. Be a bit different. So dark there and lighter here. That's it, it's really simple. I'm going to come in close now because that bit of ribbon. There we go. So we've got all this knotting going on here. I'm going to do these two longer pieces first because they're easy. So darker here and here, like that. Same with this one. It's not realistic. That isn't where the light would hit there, but yeah. And the light would hit there actually, not there. But never mind. Now this bit where it's knotted, I'm going to make it a little darker each side, and this knot I'm going to come round and make a light bit in the middle. And then this bit I shall just fade to the centre. There we go. Now this, I think it's a flask. We've got this sort of lid. I'm trying to think of what colour. We have this sort of swirly bit. Is it printed on? Is it a coloured item, or do we want to do it shiny as if it's... I'm thinking I'd quite like to just do it silver or pewter, because I think that'll be fun. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my Payne's Grey again. I know we've already used it today, but I think this gives quite a nice pewter colour just alone. So I'll show you on this brim. Now this I don't want too dark, so I'm not putting down really dark layer. I'm just keeping it fairly light, and we're going to make a light part in the middle. Like that. So we've got some shine. We'll do... See this bit, I feel that these bits might be sticking out and this bits might be further back. What I'm going to do first is on the whole of this is do the same sort of pattern as this, so it's darker on the edge and then lighter towards the middle. There we go. And then I'm just going to make these bits a little bit darker. Like that. And then I'm also going to do the lid in this colour because I think it would be. I don't think you would have a whole flask made of sort of pewter or silver, whatever it is, and then the lid be a different colour. Let's do this handle. So I'm thinking darker here and then lighter towards the top where the ribbon is. But I think there'd be a little bit of shadow just either side of the ribbon. Now this main one, actually let's do this bottom piece, this is easy. I can do this quite dark because I'm sort of thinking that maybe this bit has a lip which goes over this base. There we go. Now what I'm thinking here is that these pieces here are either engraved or embossed, so they're not flat on the surface. So we need to allow for that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to treat it very much like I did this bit. So I'm going to do my main colour first, and then I'm going to go back and do my shading and shadows on the pattern. So you could just do this first stage, and if you think the next bit either doesn't look to your liking or you think it's a little too complex, you could just miss it out. So I'm going to start to try and fade my colour now towards the centre, leave a light bit right in the middle. Now we used blue on our earlier one. I'm purposely not using blue on this one because I want it to look different. I want it to look like it's a different metal. I think it does. Whoops, out of the line she goes. Just bring it gently in. Now I want a bit of white, not too much. I think that'll do. I'm just going to erase that little error. It erases reasonably well. There we go. Now I think it's easier to make these look like they stand out rather than that they're sticking in. So we can just put a bit of shadow underneath each one, or sort of around them really, all the way around the edge, putting more underneath than is above, and fading our shadow slightly as we come towards the middle. It makes it slightly complex, but not too much. Really the key is to just do the shadow enough so that it stands out so you can see it's there. So down at this edge, you can do a bit thicker. I think that bit needs to be a bit thicker too. There we go. So we'll just do the same on all of them really. And hopefully we'll give that sort of impression of it being a little bit three-dimensional. You might have to squint and use your imagination a bit, but you know. But really we're just following Johanna's lines and darkening them up a bit. Now there I went inside, that wasn't planned. I'm thinking here we can put a little bit here where they're overlapping as well. You may need to resharpen your pencil to keep a more accurate line. I think mine's okay at the minute. But be patient with yourself, it takes practice. I mean, you think Johanna has been drawing these pictures for years, a long time, and we're just beginning. Still learning. I mean, so she. I figure that we're all learning in life. Different things, all sorts of things. Like our personality, getting to know ourselves. I have a sort of relative-ish who's going through a divorce at the moment, and she feels like she's getting to know herself again. You know. But we don't have to go through a big life change for that to happen. You know, it can be something that we all do from time to time. I feel like I need a little bit of shadow underneath this cap. Like that. There wouldn't be shadow under there because I feel that is central to the top. I feel like it had to be a round top and that would be in the middle. I do feel it still looks a little bit too flat for my liking. I'm going to darken this up a bit. And here I want to just try and emphasize that it's a bit curled, so I'm going to darken this too. I just want it to look a bit more rounded. You may need to go back after and darken your shadows a bit, depending on how much extra colour you're putting down. going to leave it there. I'm happier with that, although that's not very even. I could fiddle and paddle for ages, but I think I'm going to leave it there. So I'm going to, I'm not going to start the next video today because we've got these little buttons to do, and I think there's quite a few, and I might feel rushed if I don't give myself enough time for those. It's just come out a tad more. There we go. So that's what we've done, these two today. It might be that we do 2 each day, it might be that we do 1 or 3, you know, we'll just wait and see. But there are those 2. I've had fun. I hope you have. Thank you very much for watching. I'm just checking I haven't missed anything out, like any white pen or anything, but no, I did it. So that's good. But have a lovely day. Thank you and happy colouring.